All right. Change of career. Change of career. I'm gonna have to wear a wig though, right? I mean, there's no way they allow a weather reporter to look like me, right?
I mean,
Maybe I just be outside of the hat the whole time.
Yeah.
I can do that. Okay. All right. So today we're gonna do 2 examples, and then you have time to work on your assignment. And we want to be able to solve not just one part of the triangle. We want to be able to solve the entire triangle today. The entire triangle. And so here's the first part. You want to be able to draw the triangle. These will all be right triangles, so that means you're going to put a 90-degree angle in place. And that will always be angle C. Angle C is always 90 degrees. Angle C is always 90 degrees. Oh, thank you. All right, I understand. Angle B is 32 degrees. So you can either put angle A or B up here. It doesn't matter. As I look at it, this angle looks more like about a 32-degree angle. So I'm going to put B down here. And I'm going to label it 32 degrees. If it's a capital letter, it's an angle. If it's a lowercase letter, it's a side. Okay? So I've got angles A, B, and C all lined out for me. What I don't have is I don't have the sides labeled yet. And so the sides are opposite the angles. So if this is angle C, this is side C. If this is angle A, this is side A. And if this is angle B, then this is side B. So that's the first piece. Is everybody okay with setting up kind of the location of A, B, and C? All right, I know that side C is 8. And now those are the 3 pieces I have yet to find in order to solve for this triangle. Okay, there will be 4 points for this type of problem on the test. In order to get the first point, you need to find one of them right away. Talk with the person next to you. Which of these 3, angle A, side A, or side B, is the easiest to find? Go, talk. What's the easiest to find?
Side B. Angle. No. Side A. It's half of this.
No. Side A.
This is C. This is A.
No.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is the easiest part to find?
B. Angle A.
Angle A. How come?
Because you just have to add and then subtract from 180.
All the angles of a triangle add to 180 degrees. So if I take 180 minus 90, I get 90. Minus 32 is 58 degrees. Now all of them add to 180 degrees. If you do that, you get 1 out of the 4 points for this problem. 4. So now I want to find a couple more points. In order to get 2 more points, you're going to have to be able to find either side A or side B. So it's very, very, very important. This is where people get lost. You have to choose which angle you're going to work with. Liz, would you like to work with angle B, or would you like to work with angle A?
I'm working with A.
She's working with angle A, so I'm going to put 58 degrees right there, and I'm going to circle angle A. Okay? After I've decided the angle, I can then label opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. What is C, the opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? It is the hypotenuse. How about side A? Is that the opposite or the adjacent?
Opposite.
And then B is the adjacent. Okay, so now Liz, you decided you want to work with A. I have it properly labeled. Just note that if you were to work with B, then the opposite would be over here, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be different. So you must decide which angle you're focusing on. Now, do you want to find side A or side B? It's up to you.
A.
She wants to find side A. So if she's trying to find side A, she has to decide, does she want to use sine, cosine, or tangent? If she's trying to find the opposite and she's given the hypotenuse, sine, cosine, or tangent.
Sine.
So ka, toa. So you can see that she is looking for the opposite, and she is given the hypotenuse. So that tells her to use sine. So the sine of her 58 degrees is equal to the opposite, which is side A, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 8. And as she solves here, she can cross multiply. A times 1 is A. And it's 8 times the sine of 58. I go to my calculator and I take 8 times the sine of 58. And I get 6.78. If you could do that, you now have 3 out of 4 points. To get the final point, you need to find side B. How would you find side B?
We'll just have it.
Excellent thought, but it doesn't work out that way.
Sine 32.
Okay, so you could do sine of 32 is B over 8. You could do that. You could set up another trig ratio. Here's another thing you could do. You could just use the, you could use cosine, or you could use the Pythagorean theorem. You have 2 of the sides, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you could go 6.78 squared plus B squared is equal to 8 squared. A lot of times people like to go the Pythagorean theorem for that last one. You could set up another trig function, or you could go the Pythagorean theorem. It's entirely up to you. I take my 8 squared and I subtract 6.78 squared. And I have to square root my result. And I get 4.24. At this point, I want to check to see if my answers are reasonable. And I can see that the biggest angle is 90 degrees, and that corresponds with the biggest side of 8. I can see that the smallest angle is 32 degrees, and that corresponds with the smallest side, which is 4.24. And then the angle that's in the middle is 58, and that corresponds to the middle side. Okay? That should always happen. If that doesn't work out, something is wrong. Any question before we leave that one? Yeah.
Do you have any batteries?
I don't. But there's this great place called Wally World. Some refer to it more as Walmart. And they have all sorts of batteries. All right, the last one here. And then you're going to start working on your assignment. We're going to call this 90 degrees, and it's angle C. Side A is smaller than side B, so I'm going to put side A, which is 5 right there. That means that's angle A. And side B is 12. That's the larger side. So I'm going to put that angle over there. So I have 90 degrees, I have 5, and I have 12. What's different about this problem compared to the problem we just did? Yeah, you're given 2 sides instead of an angle. Okay? How can I find that third side? Pythagorean theorem. I have 5 squared plus 12 squared is equal to C squared. 5 squared is 25. 12 squared is 144, and that's C squared. 12 plus 144 is 169, is equal to C squared, so C is 13. So now you're going to be trying to find an angle. We talked a little bit about that the other day. Saw it's your birthday, so I'm going to let you choose. You get to choose whether you want to be working with angle A or angle B. It's up to you. She's working with angle B. Excellent choice. So if she's working with angle B, is 13 the opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Hypotenuse. How about 12? Is 12 the opposite or adjacent? It's opposite because it's across from angle B, and then 5 is obviously the adjacent. So she has all three of those. Now she gets to make a second choice. Saw, would you like to use sine, cosine, or tangent? And all the answers are correct. It doesn't matter which one you choose. She would like to use cosine. So the cosine of the angle that she's working with, which is B, is equal to the adjacent, which is 5, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 13. Now suppose Callie was like, I don't want to use cosine, I want to use tangent because it reminds me of being tan and being in the sun. It makes me happy. That's fine. You can use tangent of B, and you could say that, tangent would be the opposite divided by the adjacent. So you could say 12 over 5.
And you're going to get the same thing?
You'll get the same thing. Or suppose Liz says, I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about sin because people are mean and they do sinful things and they're bad. Okay, fine. Go ahead. So if you want to use that, then you could use 12 over 13. But either way, anyone is going to give you the right answer. But when you're finding an angle, do people remember, I don't press cosine, I press second cosine. When you're finding the angle, instead of pressing cosine, notice here it says, what we wrote down is cosine of B is 5 over 13. When you're trying to find the angle, you don't press cosine, you press second cosine. Second cosine, and then you type in the 5 over 13. And you get 6738. Suppose you would have tried that tangent button. Tangent, well, I don't use tangent, I use tangent inverse of 12 divided by 5. Come on. Ugh. Notice that you're going to get the same answer. And if you would have tried sine inverse of 12 divided by 13, either way you get 67. Oh, I did sine, not sine inverse. That's what I did wrong. 12 divided by 13. And I get 6738. So angle B is 67.38 degrees. And now that you know that, you can subtract from 180 to get A, and you get 22.62 degrees. So on your assignment today, you have 4 problems. These are the 4 right in front of you. The ones on the left follow along with the first example. The ones on the right follow with the second example. Okay? I have the answer key already made. It's up here. Right here. And I'll flip to that so you guys can check your answers. And that should then be able to help you complete the rest of your study guide. And that should be it. So you guys have the rest of the hour to work. You should be able to get pretty close to finishing that assignment. And then we'll spend the next 2 days doing a review together. Okay?
Mr. Gans.
Mr. Gans.